Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just DC movies as a whole, but specifically The Flash and a side course of some Superman stuff as well. So the Flash movie has been in the works for a while now, and I think most of us are just desperate to just finally be able to see this thing after all these years. But as soon as we get the first solo movie for a character, a lot of thoughts and overall minds just go, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next on the menu? And the sequel is immediately what a lot of people want to know about next, or at the very least, does this first movie set up a sequel? So, you know, with the Flash movie, is that the case? Well, the director for the film, that being Andy Muschietti, gave us a bit of insight into, you know, maybe what is happening going forward. Now, this is the part of the video where I say disclaimer. Now, I say disclaimer because this video probably won't come out until a bit later in the week, but tomorrow night, so about 28 hours, I'd say 28 hours from when I'm recording this video, I'll be seeing the film. Now, the reason I'm disclaiming that is because I don't know if I'm going to put on social media or something like that if I've seen the film or something like that before I release this video. So I didn't want to make it seem like I'm doing some tipsy-turvy stuff, and I wanted to make this video before I see it so I can just do some speculatory stuff and just think about what might happen. And also, I don't think I'd even talk about it after I've seen the film because that could be spoilery. I don't want to do anything potentially spoilery. So yeah, that's why it's happening now. That's why I'm giving a bit of a disclaimer. I'm seeing the movie tomorrow night from when I'm making this video, but the video might not come out until 3, 4, maybe 5, 6 days after I've seen the film. So yeah, just a heads up so no one attacks me for some reason, because that might happen. It's the internet. But yeah, after a recent screening of the Flash film, there was a Q&A that took place with the director Andy Muschietti and his sister Barbara Muschietti, who was also a producer on the film. And in regards to a sequel to the long-awaited Flash movie, this is what Andy had to say in particular. We didn't talk about it. I think that we're all waiting to see how this movie does. Of course, there's excitement about continuing the story, especially if this movie is successful. Of course, there's an architecture in DC that is brewing and it's being created. And the question is, will this new architecture absorb this story? The good thing about the multiverse is that it is possible. The multiverse allows all these different worlds to coexist and interact. And so hopefully, yes, I mean, we don't know yet. That's the truth. So my initial thoughts around this is that it sounds like maybe the movie leaves us open-ended. So it doesn't necessarily, shut the door or have someone greeting you into the next chapter, but it leaves it a bit ambiguous, a bit open-ended, so they can decide what they want to do after the movie comes out. They can see how the movie performs, everything like that. And that's what it seems like. Now, James Gunn has been a big champion of this film. He's been really hyping it up, saying this is one of the, if not the best movies I've seen, or comic book movies I've seen. So he's really been hyping it up. So that could suggest that he has plans to maybe do something with it going forward. But the fact that this film is dealing with the multiverse, different timelines, things changing, they can decide what they want to do going forward. Because, Superman Legacy is apparently meant to be the first film, or the first proper film in James Gunn's new DC universe in regards to the live action side of things. So we don't know necessarily how he's going to craft things, what might be teased in that Superman film that might suggest, if it's completely new or it's just a bit of a soft reboot. Who knows what's going to happen? And maybe, you never know, maybe James Gunn's new DCU is set in whatever we come out of the Flash movie in. Maybe Ezra Miller's Barry Allen comes out in a completely new world. We don't know. We know they did some reshoots earlier this year, some pickups. So maybe that's what they did there. They slotted some stuff in. We don't know. That's, of course, a wait and see. And even then, that could be something that, is even touched upon in later films or some of those HBO Max series or something like Blue Beetle or Aquaman. I don't know, something along those lines. But that's more tying into the future of just, I guess, the Flash property potentially in the other DCU things going forward with James Gunn. But if there's a sequel to this Flash film, what could it be? Now, to me, the obvious choice, I think the only choice personally, is Reverse Flash. Now, the big thing that people are wondering about is this movie. Reverse Flash. Is it going to be anything hinting at him? Is it even going to be a slight alluding to in regards to him? Because the thing with the Flashpoint story in the comics, which they're using a Flashpoint sort of take or concept, I guess you could say, in this movie, but not, just adapting it from the comic. But Flashpoint works. It wouldn't work in this movie because I don't think Eobard, like in regards to having Reverse Flash there, because from what we know at the very least, Barry doesn't know who Eobard is. He's never interacted with the Reverse Flash. He might not even have any suspicions that another speedster killed his mum. We've seen like in the trailers, his mum like dying after being like stabbed or shot or something. She's got blood all over her chest. I don't know if it's stabbed in the comics, so I'd assume they do stabbed in the movie. But there's like no like sound like or like anything in the trailers that suggests just this mysterious person or whatever it might be. It just sounds like she's killed and Henry Allen or Barry's dad is just the one that's the lead suspect and is charged with it and sent to prison. So Reverse Flash may play zero part in this Flashpoint story and potentially maybe even zero part in the death of Nora Allen, at least in regards to being alluded to or mentioned as a something or being that killed his mum. But then again, maybe that could be a tease at the end. It just feels weird that there might not be anything revolving around Reverse Flash in this film, but that might be the smart move because there's no proper relationship between Barry and Eobard, or rivalry, might I say. Relationship might not be the best word, but a rivalry there. So maybe it's smart to leave him out. I guess we'll have to wait and see what the movie's like and how it flows without Reverse Flash in there. But in regards to a sequel, I think Reverse Flash and like Barry learning about Eobard and what he's done and maybe like the whole thing that he was the one that really did that to his mom would be a really good sequel story, especially following this if Reverse Flash doesn't play a part in it. If it's not Reverse Flash, maybe something like the Rogues or something. I know in some of the not the Flashpoint, but the Flash movie tie-in comics is Tar Pit and I think Top. I think there might be one other Rogue that's in there, but those are some villains that are in those official tie-in comics. So I guess in the context or the canon of the movie, the Flash is versus those villains. So, they could do a Rogue sort of team up if they want to. I know in like an earlier script of this movie that was meant to have Ezra Miller as the Flash, like the Rogues were the villain in one of the scripts. So maybe they could put that in the sequel as well. Or it could be the Rogues constructed by Reverse Flash. Maybe that's what they want to do there. But of course, this is all for us to wait and find out when the movie officially comes out. Maybe I'll know in a day from now what's happening there, but I have a feeling that they're going to suppress the ending or the proper ending because we've been warned that there's going to be some spoilers removed. So maybe the ending is one of them, but I don't know, maybe I'll have some insight after tomorrow night. But elsewhere in the world of DC movie news, there's only been like one real other thing. Like it has been a bit dry, but that's because James Gunn has been, doing the promo tour for Guardians of the Galaxy. So he hasn't really been talking too much DC, but there's also like, it's a bit of a dry period because this movie isn't filming until January, Superman Legacy that he's doing, but some potential castings have come out. Now, I'm not going to lie. None of them punch you in the face and go, that's Superman, to be completely honest, at least in my eyes. Like the two in particular that are being mentioned could definitely play Superman, but it's nothing that's like mind blowing. They're fine. They are Nicholas Hoult, I think, and David Corenswet, who I've only seen in one thing, which was that Hollywood show on Netflix. He might have been in something else I've seen, but that's the one thing I know that I've seen him in. But they're the two that and there might be one other person that's up for Superman or been mentioned in it, but they're the two that I've seen over the past couple of days that have been talked about quite a lot. And I think I'd be fine with it. Like, I'm not really too fussed with the whole Superman thing in regards to who they cast. It's more the story and the character interactions, which I'm really, really confident James Gunn will nail. He's just really good at story, especially character interactions and making you really care about characters. So obviously you still want to get the right casting in there and not pick some person that just does not suit Superman or the supporting characters at all. But I'm not too hung up on like who they do and don't pick. That's just a side to me. I'd rather just the focus on, the actual contents within the movie, like the story and the dialogue and the relationships and everything like that. Obviously, chemistry is important and that will play a part, but I don't think James Gunn is going to cast people that don't get on. And there was some Lois Lane casting or some like rumored Lois Lane or some rumored actresses up for Lois Lane, including like Rachel Brosnahan and Emma Mackey or whatever her name is from Sex Education. I think there was one other person I can't remember off the top of my head. And they're fine. Once again, it's the Clark Kent or Superman and Lois Lane chemistry stuff that's really going to matter. And I think like Jimmy Olsen's going to be in the film. They've confirmed that. I think he confirmed Crypto's going to be in the film as well. So I think he's definitely going to be tapping into the Superman mythos quite a lot. And I'm very excited to see James Gunn's take on Superman because James Gunn in the past so far with the comic book stuff, whether it's Marvel, DC, has really handled underdogs like ones where I don't know if there's like really a ridiculous amount of expectation going into the film, but now he's handling the big boy. He's handling Superman. So I think this might be where he truly shines. I've seen people saying, "Oh, this is where he's going to drop the eggs," if you want to put it, or drop the cake. I know what you just drop it, just stuff it up. But I feel the other way. I feel like this is the one that I feel like he's going to nail completely. So I'm really, really excited for it. But yeah, so the Flash movie from the time making this video is it's just over a month away. So the time is ticking down. People are getting very excited, and I'm just very curious to see what it does going forward. And if, Blue Beetle could be that movie, which maybe gives us that first footstep, because James Gunn has made some slight comments where it seems like maybe Blue Beetle is technically the first movie or the first footstep into his DCU, though he really had no part in it. So I don't know necessarily what that means. But then again, that could just be to get people to go see it, so they just don't think it's a pointless movie. But yeah, we'll probably find out more about all of this stuff at Comic-Con, which is between the Flash's release and Blue Beetle's release. And it wouldn't surprise me too much if that's where he announces the castings for Superman and all that. But then again, they might be on the thread or on the edge of leaking out, which might push him to announce it beforehand, so that you don't get into a situation like Marvel had back in 2019, where all their surprises leaked like a week or two early and everyone knew what was happening at that panel. So James Gunn might have to get ahead of it, but that's a waiting to see. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on everything we went over in this video. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. Thoughts on a Flash sequel, thoughts on the Superman stuff, let me know in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.